I've been babbling on about this, and I, for one, actually am really enjoying it. Today is the final day of London Fashion Week. Some of the world's most creative minds, they've been here, haven't they? They've all ascended on the Capitol, showing off their latest designs, the trends, and so much more. But for my next guest, it's more about this than just fashion and the latest trends. It's about making things more inclusive, but also accessible. I'm joined on the line now with Anna Cofone, who is the founder of Hair and Care Initiative. It was launched by her own experience of growing up with a father who was blind. Anna, it's great to have you here on BBC Radio London. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for giving us this time. It's really great to come online and speak to you about what we're doing.
Now, let's delve a little bit firstly into the work that you do. Tell me more about Hair and Care, the initiative.
Yeah, sure. So Hair and Care started in 2019. It was basically just born from an idea of and a motivation to give back, having been a successful hairstylist in the fashion and music industry for over 15 years, and also my personal experience growing up with a blind parent who was really passionate about self-care and used that as a way to empower himself and retain a sense of identity. I wanted to bring this idea of hair care and hairstyling to blind and low vision people, and support them with learning how they can look after their hair themselves, style their hair, with a view to it helping to reduce their isolation, build their self-esteem, their confidence. And, we've seen this having worked with this now for over 4 years. We've just seen the impact that it's had on people, and how it's made them a lot more confident, and to the point where it's making them feel like they do want to consider their options, their careers, and their social life.
It's quite something, isn't it? As you're talking, I'm just thinking about the fact that unfortunately, we do not have a wider conversation in the creative industry just around accessibility, but also ensuring that everyone feels included. I mean, especially if we be frank about it, when you talk about something like London Fashion Week, which is, a date in the calendar for fashion lovers all over the world. All eyes are on London and have been for London Fashion Week. But from the work you've been doing, because this initiative began back in 2019, have you seen growth or development around this conversation of inclusivity, accessibility, let's say even within London Fashion Week?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Obviously, we started initially offering free monthly workshops, and it was only really until early last year that we made the first show at London Fashion Week accessible. And how that was born was, from witnessing the impact that our free monthly workshops were having on our participants, and because of my involvement in fashion and leading hair teams at Fashion Week, it was an organic expansion really for us to, also include and help these brands understand that, there is this misconception that blind and low vision people are not interested in fashion or how they look. And it just couldn't be further from the truth. So to date, we did 3 shows last year, including Copenhagen Fashion Week, where we championed the inclusion of the first blind model to walk the runway, which was wonderful Lucy Edwards with her guide dog Miss Molly, and this weekend we made 3 shows accessible, and I think designers are understanding that actually they have not really been considerate to this community of people.
I should say, firstly, huge congratulations, in the waves that you have made, and how were these 3 shows this over this weekend? Can you just kind of paint a picture for me in terms of what took place at London Fashion Week? In what areas were you able to kind of provide that support? Because it clearly comes across from what you're saying that those within the fashion industry are listening and they want to be more inclusive. So how did that take place this week?
Yeah, we started off with touch tours at the designers' studios. So it included SS Daly, wonderful Stephen and Leo Daly, Chet Lowe, and Roxanda. So a few days prior to their show, we were able to invite some of our key guests to attend their studio, meet them, but also listen to the inspiration for the collection. They had an opportunity to feel the fabrics and also some of the key pieces.
Wow.
So that was the first step. And then the second step was on the show day itself. We had our guests arrive an hour before showtime so that they could have an opportunity to listen to an audio description of the collection, as well as go through all of the fabrics that were included in the collection. And then, that they were then taken to their seats. They listened to audio descriptions of each look in real time. So it was really it's such an important journey that we're taking these blind and low vision people on, because they're finally feeling seen and included and considered.
That's something, isn't it? I mean, as you say, for them to be finally feeling, that they're included. But how far do you think we are from a fully inclusive fashion industry?
I think we've got a long way to go, and for me that also includes the hair and beauty industry. Okay. I've witnessed at our workshops that there's so many tools and products that are inaccessible, whether that be the shape of the bottles, the lids, the electrical tools, those that do have sound or don't have sound. There's just these little nuances that make such a difference to a blind or low vision person. And, coming back to fashion, websites need to be accessible. Designers, Instagrams, their socials, their online sales platform needs to be accessible, because they are passionate about fashion. They're passionate about how they look. They're passionate about how they style their hair and wearing makeup. And it's only because brands have not been inclusive. So look, there are brands out there, that are making small steps that will have a huge impact. But I think we need to keep disrupting the industries. We need to keep encouraging brands to have these conversations. And I guess that's what Hair and Care, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring it to them. And it's
clearly changing, isn't it? I mean, I should also mention,
absolutely,
Anna, that you yourself, you work closely with celebrities such as Lana Del Rey, Dua Lipa. You've regularly featured in the leading fashion publications, luxury brand campaigns. So you've seen, all aspects of the industry, the creative industry as a whole. Is there a point to be made for us as consumers? I just wonder, and what we should be demanding, from fashion and beauty industries? Because, I mean, you just made a point there. Some of us, I don't even think I thought of it, just around the shape of a bottle, as you just mentioned there, and the way that it would impact somebody who is visually impaired.
Yeah, I think ultimately what it boils down to is just lack of understanding and lack of information. And I think that through the work that we're doing and the people that we're meeting, people like Lucy Edwards and Jane Manley, we can help brands to understand that there is this huge market. The purple spending power is immense. And I think they need to understand that that this is going to be beneficial for their brand, that by virtue of making their brand accessible and inclusive, that will open them up globally to a community of people, not just blind and low vision, that will feel included and that will want to buy their product.
So vitally important, this conversation, and I'm so glad we're having it, because I think a lot of people will be thinking of London Fashion Week and they'll be thinking of their favourite designers, not necessarily, as you've just said there, having that wider conversation of the impact that it has to ensure that everyone feels included. Now, people can head to your website, can't they? hairandcareproject.com for more details.
Absolutely, yeah.
Such a pleasure having you here on Radio London, Anna. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you so much for highlighting our work.
It's an important one, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Anna Cofone there, who is founder of Hair and Care Initiative. More details, by the way, on hairandcareproject.com.